Howard, tell me about your new book, Albert of Adelaide.
Albert is a story of one individual, in this case a platypus, who hated the world he was in and was willing to risk death to find a place that he really belonged. That was just that much better than the place he had been in. When he gets to the world he was looking for, it wasn't what he expected. And he runs across danger and prejudice and meets good friends along the way.
Why do you like using animals as characters?
I think it gives the writer a lot of latitude and a lot of the ability to say something about the human condition without having human beings muck it up.
Do you listen to audiobooks?
I've listened to some audiobooks because when I used to travel a lot, I used to drive 20 to 30,000 miles a year on the border here, just visiting clients in local jails and visiting crime scenes. And when you're on the desert roads that long, you have a tendency to listen to audiobooks, and I like them for that reason.
Can you tell us anything about the Albert of Adelaide audiobook edition?
As far as the reader that did Albert, it was a decision of the publishing company that they wanted to use someone with an Australian accent, and they sent me three different actors reading the book, and we all selected David, and hopefully he's done a good job. And I think it's kind of interesting for me to listen to the book with an Australian accent, since I don't have one myself.
Let's listen to the audio version of your book's dedication.
It seems fitting to dedicate this book to an Australian soldier I met at a bar many years ago in Sydney. All I can remember about him was that he had a bad bayonet scar from service in Malaya, and that he got me hopelessly lost on the New South Wales rail system before he passed out.
What's the story behind that?
It's only fitting that since I wrote the book on Australia and maybe hopefully got some people lost in the outback, that it was fair to dedicate the book to somebody who got me lost in Sydney.
Let's listen to another clip from the audiobook.
The kangaroo gestured to another sign next to the cracked mirror that read, "We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone who isn't a marsupial. The management." "He's going to have to leave. House rule." Albert spoke for the first time. "I'm a platypus." The kangaroo adjusted his spectacles with his front paw and took a closer look at Albert. "I never saw anything like you before, and I assume that anything I haven't seen didn't come from a pouch, until proven otherwise."
This is your first book. How did you become a novelist?
Through my life, I've done many things. I've traveled around the world. I've lived in Buenos Aires. I've written ad copy. I've directed movies. I've written numerous screenplays. I worked in steel mills and fishing boats. And the question, does any of that have any effect on a novel? Of course it does. It has an effect on who you are. And who you are determines what you write.
Are you working on another novel?
Well, actually, I am. I'm about 75% complete of a second book called TJ, which is not so much a sequel as is a companion novel to Albert. We'll have to see how far it gets along. But the characters, once again, are animals, and they're animals that live in Australia. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Howard.